The night is calm. A soft wind moves through the ancient olive trees. Their leaves shimmer beneath the silver glow of the moon. Somewhere, a quiet temple rests upon a marble hill. It is a place where seekers come to whisper their questions. They carry doubts, dreams, and desires hidden in their hearts. The air inside the temple feels timeless, almost alive. Candles flicker, casting shadows that dance on the walls. In the center stands a statue of Athena, tall and serene. Her eyes seem to watch, steady and filled with quiet knowing. People say she guards more than wisdom itself. They speak of a flame, a light born from truth. It is not fire that burns, but fire that awakens. Legends call it the flame of knowledge, a flame that guides the curious toward clarity and meaning, a flame that shines brighter the more it is shared. Tonight, a new story begins with a gentle call. It is a call to follow wonder, not fear, a call to seek the light that waits beyond silence. The journey to the flame of knowledge is about to unfold. The temple was silent when dawn broke. The first light spilled gently across marble steps. Birds stirred, their calls echoing through the still air. A young scholar climbed the stairs, each step slow. His hands trembled, clutching a small leather book. He had traveled far, seeking more than answers. What he sought was clarity, a flame within. Inside the temple, shadows lingered, cool and deep. Columns rose like guardians, ancient and unyielding. The scent of oil lamps floated in the air. He knelt before Athena's statue, lowering his head. His voice quivered, yet his prayer was steady. Goddess of wisdom, hear the longing in me. I do not seek glory, nor power, nor wealth. I seek the truth hidden behind the veils of life. The words left his lips, soft, almost a whisper. Silence followed, vast and heavy like the sea. The scholar closed his eyes, waiting for nothing. Yet something stirred in the stillness around him. The air warmed, touched by a glow unseen. It was not fire, but light without a source. The statue's gaze seemed alive, calm, yet piercing. In his heart, a question rose unbidden. Was this the beginning of the journey foretold? The scholar breathed deeply, steadying his spirit. A voice entered his thoughts, soft as flowing water. It was not sound, but something deeper, eternal. You seek, and so you shall be guided. Knowledge is not hidden, but waiting to be found. Beyond these walls lies the first path. Walk with courage, for truth demands patience. The scholar opened his eyes, breath quick and sharp. The temple appeared unchanged, yet charged with meaning. He felt the weight of the goddess's presence. Athena's voice lingered, both near and far away. He rose to his feet, steady now, certain. The flame of knowledge was no longer a myth. It was real, alive, waiting somewhere beyond. He walked from the temple, heart alight with purpose. The sun climbed higher, warming the stones beneath him. Each step carried him closer to mystery and truth. The road ahead stretched wide, filled with wonder. Villages lay in the distance, smoke rising gently. The scholar knew the path would not be simple, but in his heart, a spark had been lit. Athena had spoken, and the journey had begun. He carried no sword, no shield, no armor. His only weapon was his hunger for learning, his only guide, the whisper of the goddess. As he moved forward, the world seemed brighter. Every tree, every bird, every sound carried meaning. The flame was calling, and he was listening. The scholar vowed to follow wherever it led. His footsteps echoed softly, a rhythm of hope. A new chapter unfolded beneath the morning sky. And with it, the story of wisdom took flight. The road stretched long beneath the scholar's feet. Fields opened wide, painted gold beneath the sun. Every step carried him farther from the temple's silence. Yet within, the echo of Athena's voice remained. Her words drifted like a steady flame in his mind. He wondered if dreams could be so clear, so real. Could a goddess truly speak to a mortal heart? As dusk descended, he sought rest by a stream. The waters shimmered, cool and endlessly flowing. Stars began to scatter across the growing night. He laid down, his book resting beside him. Sleep came gently, like a soft curtain of dark. And within sleep, the world shifted once again. He stood in a meadow bathed in silver light. The air was alive, glowing with unseen presence. From the horizon, a figure began to form. She appeared not in armor, nor in grandeur. She appeared graceful, robed in calm brilliance. Athena's eyes were deep, like endless skies of thought. Her gaze held kindness, yet carried immense clarity. The scholar bowed, words trembling on his lips. "Goddess, is this truly you before me now?" Her voice flowed like a river, calm and unbroken. "You called, and I have answered, seeker of truth. You search for meaning, and thus you are heard." The scholar's heart swelled with awe and wonder. He dared to lift his eyes toward her light. Athena extended her hand, pointing toward the distance. "There lies a flame, brighter than the stars above. It is the flame of knowledge, born of eternal truth. It is not treasure, nor prize, nor power to keep. It is a light to guide, to awaken, to share." The scholar felt his breath catch at her words. He had heard legends, but now they felt alive. Athena's form seemed both near and far, shifting like air. She stepped closer, her presence filling the dream. "Your journey will not be easy, child of learning. The path asks patience, courage, and an open heart. Knowledge is a flame that must never be hidden. Guard it, but also let it shine for others." The scholar placed his hand over his chest. "I will follow, goddess, wherever the flame calls." Athena's expression softened, like a dawn unfolding. "Then walk onward, and let questions be your guide." She raised her hand, and the meadow glowed brighter. The stars above bent closer, whispering silent truths. The scholar felt warmth flood through his spirit. It was not fire, but a light of clarity. He understood. This was not just his journey. It was the journey of every seeker of wisdom. Athena's voice lingered, fading like a gentle breeze. "When you wake, the first sign will await you. Follow it, and the path shall unfold before you." The meadow dissolved into a shimmer of silver dust. The scholar stirred, his eyes opening to dawn. The stream sang softly, the sky painted in rose. Yet beside him lay something strange, unexpected. A feather, golden, gleaming with otherworldly glow. He held it, heart racing, eyes wide with awe. The goddess had spoken and left her sign. The journey to the flame had truly begun. He rose with new resolve burning within. The call was no longer a dream, but destiny. And the road ahead waited, vast and full of light. The morning air was crisp as the scholar set out. The golden feather glowed softly in his hand. It pulsed gently as if guiding his steps forward. Each beat of light seemed to whisper a direction. He followed, his heart steady with new resolve. The path wound through fields rich with wildflowers. The scent of earth and blossoms filled the breeze. Every sound felt sharper, alive with secret meaning. He remembered Athena's words, carried like a song. "Let questions be your guide. Let patience be your friend." The feather brightened when the road split into two. To the left, hills stretched wide beneath the horizon. To the right, smoke rose faintly from a village. The scholar paused, torn between distance and people. He chose the village, for knowledge lives among voices. The streets were simple, filled with laughter and work. Children ran past, carrying baskets of fresh bread. Elders sat beneath a tree, speaking in low tones. The scholar bowed politely, introducing himself with humility. "I seek wisdom, not coin, nor food, nor shelter." The villagers welcomed him with warmth in their eyes. One elder spoke. "Wisdom grows when it is shared." Another added, "Stories hold more light than gold." The scholar listened, eager for each word and gesture. A woman showed him herbs and their healing powers. A farmer explained the rhythm of soil and rain. A child asked him why the sky changes color. He smiled, realizing wisdom flows from all directions. Every person, no matter age, carried a piece. The village glowed with a quiet, steady harmony. He saw how knowledge was not locked away. It lived in fields, in kitchens, in daily lives. At dusk, the villagers gathered around a fire. They told stories passed down from forgotten times. One tale spoke of a light beyond mountains. They called it a flame that grew brighter when shared. The scholar's heart raced at the echo of truth. Could this be the same flame Athena spoke of? The golden feather in his hand flickered brighter. The people gasped, eyes wide at its glow. "It is a sign," an elder whispered with awe. "The goddess has chosen your path among us." The scholar lowered his head, humbled by their faith. He realized wisdom was not his alone to seek. It belonged to every heart open to learning. That night, he sat beneath stars with the feather. He thought of Athena's guidance, her clear voice. He thought of the villagers, kind and wise. Perhaps the flame of knowledge was not distant. Perhaps it lived wherever light was shared freely. Yet still, a deeper call pulled him forward. The flame awaited, beyond what stories could describe. At dawn, he rose with gratitude in his chest. The villagers offered bread, water, and blessings. He thanked them, vowing to carry their wisdom. The feathers shimmered, pointing once more toward the hills. The scholar stepped onto the path, heart alive. Behind him, laughter and voices filled the air. Ahead of him, silence and mystery stretched wide. The first step of his true journey had begun. He walked not alone, but with their wisdom within. Each footprint marked the bond between seeker and world. And the call of the flame grew stronger with every step. The scholar followed the feather's glow through winding hills. The land grew quiet, with only wind to guide him. He walked until a soft murmur touched his ears. It was the sound of flowing water, gentle and deep. Soon he came upon a wide, shimmering river. Its surface shone like polished glass under the sun. When he leaned closer, he saw more than reflection. His face appeared, but behind it swirled shifting thoughts. The river mirrored not only what was outside, it revealed what the heart carried within the soul. He knelt, gazing at the images in the water. Moments of doubt flickered, his fear of failing Athena. Memories rose, his longing to be worthy of wisdom. Dreams unfolded, his hope to bring light to others. The river whispered softly, though no lips were seen. To see truth, you must first see yourself. The scholar shivered, though the air was warm. He touched the water, ripples scattering the visions. Each ripple carried a fragment of his inner world. The feather glowed brighter, pulsing in his palm. Athena's voice drifted, calm and steady as wind. Knowledge begins with reflection, seeker of truth. You must face yourself before you face the flame. The scholar closed his eyes, steadying his breath. He let his thoughts flow like the river below. He saw his pride, the desire to be remembered. He saw his fear, the shadow of being lost. He saw his kindness, fragile but bright as dawn. Each truth stung and soothed in equal measure. The river grew brighter, glowing with inner light. Images softened into calm waters, clear and still. The scholar whispered, "I accept who I am." The river responded with silence, yet also peace. The feather's glow lifted, shining across the water. A small bridge formed, woven from silver light. It stretched across the river, fragile yet radiant. The scholar knew this was the path forward. He stepped carefully, each footfall echoing with resolve. Beneath him, the river shimmered with calm clarity. Every step carried him deeper into his own truth. Halfway across, he hesitated, looking back. The shore behind him felt safe and known. The shore ahead glowed with mystery and promise. He whispered Athena's words again in his heart. Knowledge is not hidden, but waiting to be found. His courage returned, steady as the river's flow. He walked on, crossing into the far shore. When he reached it, the bridge dissolved in light. The river calmed, leaving only gentle ripples. The scholar stood tall, feeling lighter within. He had faced himself and found strength inside. The feather pulsed, then settled to a steady glow. Athena's voice whispered once more, almost tender. "You have seen your reflection, and still you walk. Now you are ready for the next step." The scholar bowed his head, humbled and grateful. The river faded behind as he turned to continue. The path ahead stretched into a valley of quiet green. His heart was calm, carrying both doubt and courage. The journey was no longer only about the flame. It was about becoming worthy to carry its light. And so he walked, the sound of water in memory. The river of reflection had marked his spirit forever. The valley stretched wide, quiet and green beneath the sun. The scholar followed the path where the feather's glow led. Soft winds carried the scent of earth and wild herbs. Bird song echoed gently, filling the air with hidden rhythm. After many hours, he came upon a curious sight. Before him stood a garden unlike any other. Its walls were vines, woven thick with blooming flowers. The gate was open, as if inviting him in. Inside, the air shimmered with quiet, golden light. But what caught his eyes were not flowers at all. Books grew here, sprouting like blossoms from living stems. Scrolls hung like fruit, glowing with words of old. The garden was alive with the wisdom of ages. The scholar stepped carefully, afraid to disturb its silence. He reached for a book that opened like a flower. Its pages turned on their own, whispering forgotten voices. He read of rivers that shaped nations into unity. He read of healers who taught kindness through their craft. He read of children whose laughter changed entire villages. Every page breathed with memory, with the pulse of life. Athena's voice stirred, soft as leaves in the wind. Knowledge of the past is the soil of the present. Without roots, no wisdom can grow strong or true. The scholar placed the book gently back on its stem. Adet walked deeper, marveling at endless shelves of blossoms. Some books glowed bright, others faded into pale shadows. He realized the forgotten grow dim without remembrance. He whispered a vow never to let memory fade. At the garden's heart, a great tree rose tall. Its trunk was carved with words in countless tongues. Branches spread wide, heavy with books like stars above. The scholar knelt, humbled by its vast presence. A single book fell softly, landing before his hands. Its cover bore no title, no mark of time. He opened it, and the pages were blank. Confused, he turned them, one after another. But then faint letters began to appear in ink. They formed words as if written by unseen hand. This book belongs to the seeker who carries it. It shall hold the memory of your own journey. The scholar's breath caught, his heart swelling with awe. He understood. This garden gave, but also received. Wisdom was not only taken, it must also be given. He pressed his hand to the page, whispering softly, "I will write what I learn, so none is lost." The feather glowed bright, blessing his promise in gold. The garden shimmered, leaves rustling in gentle approval. Athena's voice lingered. "The past and present now walk with you. Carry them, and you will carry more than yourself." The scholar rose, holding the blank book with care. It felt heavy, though its pages were still unwritten. It was not a burden, but a gift of trust. He bowed to the great tree, to the garden of books. As he turned, the path beyond opened wide again. The air shifted, carrying scents of forests and stone. The garden gate closed softly behind him, sealing its secret. The scholar walked forward, heart steady with new purpose. Each step carried both memory and the promise of sharing. The garden of forgotten books had given him a gift, not just knowledge, but responsibility to remember and record. And so he continued, carrying the voices of ages. The journey to the flame grew brighter with every step. The path beyond the garden curved into a land of stone. Hills rose like silent guardians, carved by time itself. The air grew still, touched only by distant echoes. The scholar walked, guided by the steady glow of the feather. Soon, he reached a canyon, its cliffs high and sheer. The walls shimmered faintly, as if alive with memory. He stepped closer, and the stone began to change. Shadows shifted, forming shapes that moved like living stories. Scenes unfolded across the canyon's surface in quiet light. He saw people working together to build strong homes. He saw travelers sharing bread and laughter at dusk. He saw strangers offering kindness with no expectation. Each vision passed like a dream, etched into the stone. The canyon spoke without words, yet its message was clear. Knowledge is not enough without the strength of unity. The scholar touched the rock, feeling its quiet warmth. Athena's voice whispered like an echo in the cliffs. Wisdom grows when shared, like flame passed hand to hand. The scholar thought of the blank book he carried. It was not only his journey, but a gift to others. The canyon deepened as he walked, visions multiplying around him. He saw great cities crumbling when pride turned to greed. He saw families torn apart when voices refused to listen. He saw leaders rising when they remembered the strength of many. The scholar's heart grew heavy with both sorrow and hope. He whispered to himself, "Unity is the truest foundation." The feather glowed brighter, answering with steady light. At the canyon's center, a great arch rose from stone. Its surface was carved with countless hands and faces, some smiling, some solemn, all woven together in harmony. The scholar approached, feeling the presence of lives within it. The arch pulsed with energy, as if waiting for him. A single phrase carved above it glowed faintly. "No flame endures alone. It shines when carried together." The scholar placed his hand upon the stone arch. The carvings warmed, glowing brighter beneath his touch. He felt as if hundreds of voices whispered in unison. They spoke of trust, of building bridges between hearts. They spoke of the courage to listen before speaking. They spoke of strength found not in one, but in many. The archway opened, revealing a passage of light. The scholar stepped through, his spirit trembling with reverence. On the other side, he found a circle of stones. Each stone glowed with marks carved by unknown seekers. Some were simple words of love and gratitude. Others were symbols of journeys, of lessons remembered. The scholar realized he stood in the circle of voices. It was a place where seekers left their truths. He knelt, opening the blank book in his hands. With a feather, he wrote his first words. Wisdom grows when it is shared. The page glowed softly, sealing the vow in light. The circle seemed to sigh, its stones humming gently. Athena's voice filled the air, calm yet resolute. You have seen the strength that binds all seekers. Remember this, for the flame does not belong to one. It belongs to every heart that chooses to carry it. The scholar bowed deeply, humbled by the gift of unity. He closed the book, feeling it pulse with new weight. The passage beyond opened once more, leading into soft twilight. As he walked forward, he carried not only himself, he carried the voices of countless souls before him, and their strength lit the road as much as the feather. The canyon of voices had given him a truth eternal. No journey to wisdom is ever walked alone. The twilight deepened as the scholar left the canyon behind. The path narrowed into a trail lined with ancient stones. Each stone glowed faintly, as though carrying hidden meaning. The feather flickered, guiding him toward a silent forest. The trees stood tall, their trunks wide and twisted. Branches tangled together, weaving a canopy thick as night. The forest felt alive, whispering in voices not his own. Leaves rustled with words that he could not understand. He paused, uncertain, clutching the blank book close. Then, a faint glow appeared among the trees ahead. It was not the feather, but a light of its own. He followed it, weaving carefully through shadowed roots. Soon he entered a clearing where stillness reigned. At its center stood a single tree of silver bark. Its branches bore no leaves, only small mirrors of light. Each mirror shimmered with shifting colors and images. The scholar stepped closer, drawn by their silent call. When he looked into the first mirror, he gasped. It did not show his reflection, but a hidden truth. He saw himself rushing toward wisdom for pride alone. He saw his longing to be remembered, not just to learn. The image faded, replaced by a second mirror. This one showed his heart heavy with fear of failure. He saw himself trembling, doubting Athena's trust in him. The scholar felt his chest tighten, ashamed yet humbled. He whispered, "These are shadows I must face." One by one, the mirrors revealed his hidden motives. Some reflected envy of those who seemed wiser. Some revealed impatience to reach the flame too soon. Others showed kindness unspoken, waiting to be shared. The mirrors did not condemn, they simply revealed. Athena's voice echoed, calm and unwavering as truth. The seeker must confront not only the world, but himself. Wisdom without honesty is a flame without light. The scholar bowed his head, his voice low and steady. I will not turn away from what I see within. I will carry both shadow and light with me. The mirrors shimmered, softening into gentle beams. The silver tree glowed as if warmed by his vow. One mirror detached, floating down into his hands. Its surface cleared, showing nothing but pure light. He placed it into the blank book with care. The page absorbed the glow, forming words. Truth is the mirror that guides the flame. The scholar felt strength return to his spirit. The forest quieted, no longer heavy with whispers. The path beyond opened, lined with soft, glowing moss. As he walked, he no longer feared what lay inside, for he had faced himself and found a steady center. Athena's voice returned, gentle as falling leaves. You have seen your shadows and embraced them. You are no longer chained by fear of yourself. Carry this mirror within, for the flame will ask it. The scholar pressed the book close to his heart. The forest behind him shimmered and faded into silence. Ahead, the sky brightened with hints of dawn. The journey carried him onward, step by steady step. The forest of mirrors had given him its gift. Not answers, but the courage to walk with his truth. And that courage was now the light that guided him. The dawn stretched wide, painting the sky with soft colors. The scholar stepped from the forest into open ground. The feather glowed faintly, steady as the rising sun. Ahead lay rolling fields touched with golden morning light. Each blade of grass seemed alive, shimmering like silk. The air smelled of rain, though the sky was clear. He walked slowly, letting the earth's rhythm guide him. Soon he reached a stone circle set in the meadow. The stones were smooth, carved with spirals and patterns. At their center stood a pool, calm and glassy. The scholar approached, curiosity burning in his heart. The water reflected not his form, but endless skies. Clouds drifted across, shifting into shapes and stories. He saw storms raging, then fading into soft rainbows. He saw seeds carried by wind, growing into forests. He saw rivers carving valleys, slow but unyielding. The pool was not a mirror, but a canvas of time. Athena's voice rose like the hush before rain. Patience is the teacher of wisdom. The world writes its truths in seasons, not moments. The scholar knelt, his reflection merging with the sky. He thought of his own longing to reach the flame. How often had he rushed, fearing to fall behind? How often had he doubted the worth of waiting? The pool rippled, showing him fragments of his journey. The temple where he had first heard Athena's call. The river where he faced his own reflection. The garden where he vowed to remember and record. The canyon where he learned the strength of unity. The forest where he embraced his hidden shadows. Each trial had taken time, more than he expected, yet each had shaped him in ways he could not rush. The pool shimmered, forming new words upon its surface. They who hurry miss the quiet voice of truth. They who wait shall find wisdom unfolding like dawn. The scholar whispered, I will learn to wait with trust. He dipped his hand into the water, cool and clear. Ripples spread outward, circling the stones with light. The meadow seemed to breathe, alive with gentle rhythm. He felt his heartbeat slow, steady as the earth beneath. The feather glowed brighter, harmonizing with the pool's light. The blank book opened by itself in his hands. On its page appeared a soft inscription. Patience is the path through which wisdom flows. The scholar smiled, humbled and grateful for the lesson. He closed the book, holding it close to his chest. The pool calmed, its skies fading back to silence. The circle of stones pulsed once, then grew still again. Athena's voice lingered, warm as sunlight on water. You have touched the rhythm of time's teaching. You now carry the patience to face the flame. The meadow opened beyond, bathed in golden light. The scholar walked forward, every step steady and calm. No fear hurried him, no doubt pulled him back. He trusted that each step mattered, no matter how small. The horizon called, bright with promise and mystery. The field of time had given him its gift, not swiftness, but the quiet strength of patience. And with it, his journey to the flame grew clear. The path curved gently, leading him toward the edge of a mountain. The air thinned, cool and sharp against his skin. Clouds floated low, brushing the rocky cliffs like veils. The scholar steadied himself, feeling the climb's weight in his chest. Yet the feather glowed warmly, urging him to press on. Before long, he reached a vast plateau above the clouds. There stood a great tower of stone, tall and unbroken. Its surface shimmered as if carved from both earth and sky. At its base, an archway glowed with pale silver light. The scholar stepped through, entering a hall of shifting echoes. The walls were covered in endless shelves of scrolls. Books and tablets hovered in the air like drifting stars. 1,000 voices whispered at once, soft but insistent. He realized this was the library of echoes. Here, every thought, every word, every forgotten lesson lived. Athena's voice guided him gently through the hushed hall. Knowledge is not only written in books. It also lives in the breath of memory and story. The scholar reached for a scroll drifting before him. Its surface rippled, showing visions of past seekers. He saw a woman teaching children by firelight. He saw an elder recounting tales of the sea. He saw a craftsman shaping clay, passing secrets to his son. Each vision glowed, then dissolved into shimmering air. The scholar whispered, "All wisdom survives in those who share it." The blank book in his hands grew heavier with meaning. He opened it, and words formed like whispered breath. Knowledge belongs not to one, but to all who carry it. The library trembled softly, shelves shifting like waves. Books opened themselves, releasing sparks of memory into the air. The sparks drifted down, circling him in gentle light. He felt stories pressing into him, not as burdens, but as gifts. He understood now. Wisdom is not possession, but passing. The scholar bowed his head and let the sparks sink in. They filled his mind with voices, songs, and truths unspoken. He felt connected, a vessel in a river of endless flow. Athena's voice rang once more, steady and kind. "You have touched the heart of shared wisdom. Guard it well, but never lock it away. Let it live as the flame lives in all who seek." The scholar closed the book, the feather glowing brighter still. He looked around, and the library began to fade. Shelves folded into mist, voices drifting into silence. Only the archway remained, glowing softly before him. He stepped back onto the mountain plateau, carrying new light within. The clouds parted, showing a vast horizon below. Villages, rivers, and roads stretched far into the distance. He thought of all those who would need the knowledge, not to worship, but to guide their lives with wisdom. The plateau, wind whispered like pages turning in the air. The scholar smiled, humbled and renewed. He whispered, "Knowledge is a gift to be shared." With that vow, he descended from the plateau. Every step carried not just his hope, but the voices of many. The library of echoes was gone, yet alive within him, and its gift would shine through him wherever he walked. The scholar's steps carried him from the mountain into a wide valley. The valley was bright, filled with streams that wound like silver threads. Birds sang above, their voices weaving into a gentle chorus. Yet, at the heart of the valley lay something unusual. A massive tree rose higher than any mountain he had seen. Its branches stretched across the sky like roads of living wood. Its roots twisted deep into the ground, glowing with soft light. The air shimmered around it, heavy with mystery and promise. The scholar approached slowly, humbled by its sheer presence. He realized this was the tree of memory. Its trunk bore carvings of countless hands, large and small. Each handprint pulsed faintly, as if alive with memory. Athena's voice returned, softer now, yet deeply resonant. Knowledge is not just learned, it is remembered. The past lives in every root, shaping the branches of tomorrow. The scholar placed his hand against the bark. Warmth spread through him, carrying fragments of forgotten stories. He saw children laughing as they planted small seeds. He saw villages rising near rivers, shaped by shared effort. He saw travelers carrying tales across lands and seas. Each vision carried not glory, but the quiet strength of remembrance. The blank book in his hands began to hum faintly. Its pages fluttered open, and new words appeared. Memory is the soil where wisdom grows eternal. The scholar whispered, "Then I must honor what has been kept." The tree's branches swayed, though no wind stirred. Leaves glowed softly, falling like stars onto the ground. Each leaf carried a symbol, some familiar, some strange. One drifted into his hand, warm and pulsing with light. It showed the mark of a village long forgotten. Another landed near his feet, marked with a song. He bent and listened, hearing voices singing through time. He understood then that memory was more than personal. It was collective, a binding thread between generations. Athena's voice whispered again, firm and kind. "Forgetfulness is the shadow of wisdom lost, but remembrance rekindles the flame through every age." The scholar pressed the glowing leaf into his book. The page absorbed it, shining with new inscriptions. He felt his heart swell with both sorrow and hope. Sorrow for what had been forgotten, hope for what endured. He stepped back and gazed up at the vast branches. The tree seemed to bend gently, acknowledging his vow. The feather glowed brighter, resonating with the tree's light. The scholar bowed low, his spirit deeply moved. He whispered, "I will carry the memories of many, not just my own." The valley around him shone brighter, streams gleaming like glass. The air grew warmer, filled with a quiet strength. He turned from the tree, carrying its gift within. Each step onward felt heavier with responsibility, yet lighter with purpose. The tree of memory remained, towering and eternal. Its leaves continued to fall, sowing remembrance into the world. And the scholar knew he had received a sacred gift. Not just knowledge, but the power to remember. For memory itself was a flame that must never fade. The final path stretched before the scholar, bathed in golden light. The feather glowed brighter than ever, steady and unwavering. The blank book hummed in his hands, filled with sacred words. Every trial, every vision, every whisper had led him here. He walked slowly, savoring the quiet air of destiny. Ahead rose a temple of marble, shining with inner fire. Its doors were carved with symbols of wisdom and time. He stepped through, and silence embraced him like a friend. Inside, a single flame burned upon a pedestal of stone. It flickered gently, though no wind touched its light. The scholar knew at once. This was the flame of knowledge. Athena's voice rose, calm and radiant like the dawn. "You have walked the path with courage and humility. You have listened, remembered, and carried what others forgot. Now, the flame awaits not to be owned, but shared." The scholar approached, his heart steady as the earth. He placed the blank book before the flame. The fire reached out, golden tendrils caressing its pages. Words shone brighter, filling the book with living light. The feather lifted itself, glowing as bright as the sun. It joined the flame, merging into a single brilliance. The room filled with warmth, yet no heat burned his skin. The flame whispered, not with words, but with truth. Knowledge was not a treasure to hoard. It was a light to guide, a gift to pass on. The scholar bowed low, his eyes shining with tears. He whispered, "I will not keep it for myself. I will carry it, and I will give it away." The flame pulsed once, then settled into calm glow again. The book lay before him, complete and alive with wisdom. Athena's voice lingered in the silence, warm and proud. "You are now a keeper of the flame, not to guard it, but to let it live through others." The scholar took the book and rose to his feet. He turned toward the door, light following at his heels. Outside, the world stretched wide, vast and waiting. Villages, rivers, and forests lay in the distance. He imagined sharing stories beneath starlit skies. He imagined teaching children, guiding seekers, healing doubt. He imagined memory and wisdom flowing like rivers through generations. The feather was gone, but its light lived within him. The flame was not in the temple alone. It now burned in his heart, steady and eternal. The scholar whispered to the wind, "The flame will never fade." He stepped forward, not as a seeker, but as a bearer. The world awaited, and he would answer its call. His journey to the flame had ended, but the journey of the flame itself had only just begun.